Hello everyone, and welcome to Sam Wilson Zara Health and Wellness. I am here in the studio after some PT clients this morning, and we've had lots of conversations this morning. As so happens, I always get my ideas from clients. You know, the conversations that we have it's given me some ideas to talk about with you in terms of pelvic health. So pelvic floor training and health and knowledge, it's always formed a very large part of the exercises and training that I offer here in the studio. Many years ago, I did some pelvic floor training back when I was really focused on pregnancy and postnatal training, because it's an integral part of women's health and training, literally from across the board, from puberty right up until postmenopause and beyond. Now, there used to be a real stigma around talking about pelvic health and prolapse and dysfunction. Nobody would really want to talk about it, and I've seen a real change in the last few years with pelvic health. And indeed, there's things popping up all over the place, that private clinics that offer mummy MOTs, which are the women's health physio training and appointments you can go to be checked. You can go to your GP and be referred to a women's health physio. And really, this video is to tell you that, if you are suffering with any pelvic health issues, and that can be anything from kind of needing the toilet too much or prolapse, and prolapse can mean in different areas, can mean front, back, can mean all sorts of different grades of prolapse. They are all things that need to be sorted out, and you need to go and talk to your GP about them. Now, any feelings of heaviness, anything that just doesn't feel right down there, go to your GP and discuss it. And if you're not happy with the response, then ask to be referred to a women's health physio. Now, very often in classes before, I would see women kind of have to run out if we were jumping, or heavy lifting has to be managed. And yes, if you are in the process of dealing with a prolapse, then certain exercises are going to need to be avoided. But that doesn't mean that we need to stop moving. And in fact, one of the worst things that women can do is to stop moving. We need it for our mental health. We need it for the rest of our bodies. And simply to be told, you can't do this, just go and do some swimming, it's not helpful. And in fact, it can be really harmful to other areas of women's lives. So if you have been advised and you're not happy with the outcome, please do keep going and keep pushing for an answer. Now, we manage many people in the studio, and many women in the studio coming in with prolapse, and I refer to that because it's really, really common. During pregnancy, if you're training in here, you will always hear me refer to exhale on exertion, working with the breath. And again, in postnatal sessions, either PT or groups, I will bang on about this subject all the time because it is super, super important. I've got a pelvis stand over there, and you can see just by looking at that pelvis, all of the ligaments, all of the tendons, everything is connected. And we will do exercises and you'll think, oh, why am I doing this on my pelvic floor? But trust me, it's all connected and it all needs to be done. When I'm in group classes, I will always, no matter how big the classes are, I will always refer to breath work. And you'll often hear me say exhale on exertion. For example, when you go down into a squat, you will inhale and exhale when you come up. Now, this will give your pelvic floor a little bit of a lift. When you exhale, your diaphragm lifts and takes the pelvis with it. So the muscles are working as you exhale to lift and tighten. This can help manage prolapse, and it can help manage any heaviness. Things like sit-ups, kettlebell swings, planks, all of those sorts of movements can cause a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, and a lot of ballistic movement as well can be problematic when you think about movements that are kind of plyometrics. You're jumping, some jump lunges. When you think about swings, kettlebell swings, this movement, this push forward with the pelvis can be problematic. But as I said, you need to initially go back to the start and find out from your doctor exactly what your plan of treatment is. So I hope I've kind of put over how passionate I am about pelvic floor health, because it's everything to women, and we only generally get to a point of ill health in that area and we seek help. when really we need to train the pelvic floor, muscles, ligaments, tendons, just like you would your biceps, just like you would your glutes. It's more important than those areas. So let's have, let's have a bit of a reality check with this. We do not want to be old women unable to go to the toilet on our own. We need independence for as long as possible. Which brings me on to the next subject, which is, of course, aging and health. But that's a whole new subject, so I'll leave you with this for now. If you do need help, get in contact. If you just need help with signposting, where can I go to? Where is the help? Also get in touch and I'll put you in touch with the right people. And that's it from me. So a little bit about pelvic health, and hopefully I will see you in the studio next week. We go. Kids are back at school, and then the week after as well. See you all soon. Bye.